Welcome to Monster Quads. So a lot of people have been asking how I made this Fatshark module ground station, so I figured I'd do a video on how to do it. And the reason why I decided to make this was there really are not a lot of good diversity 5.8 receivers out there, and the best ones are basically Fatshark modules. And I wanted to use my Avant glyphs. So if there's a goggle that you use that are actually these are actually quite light and small enough to double stick to a variety of goggles or headsets. But take a look at this. This is the full weight of the ground station. Well, you can get it lower with different components and different PCBs. I hope this gets really popular enough that some of those manufacturers of these modules would make something like this. But I do have a disclaimer. So I wired this pinout from the pinout information from Bruce from UBAD for the LaForge module. So thanks, Bruce. But I'm going to assume that all the pinouts for these type of modules are exactly the same and are standard. Now the module I used in the picture is for a placeholder only. I plan to find where I left my LaForge module and use that on this. So and it'll plug right in. So this, because you got to understand that this module was specifically made for the Fatshark goggles, and I'm not wiring in the buttons for changing the channels. Plus, it's, I'm looking for the diversity. Okay, so here's the first part I used. Prototyping PCBs or printed circuit boards. I used a 4x6 centimeter version. I bought a variety from Amazon. They were only $10 for the whole bag full. Search for PCB and you'll find them in Amazon. Next, go get some PCB female pin headers. This is exactly what I used to mount the module to the PCB board. Okay, and for $3 on Amazon, I bought these RCA PCB connectors. You decide what output jack you want, but I decided these were pretty standard on most receivers in modules. Lastly, we need to power the module with 5 volts. You can decide how you want to power these. There are plenty of options. Those power packs that you use for your phone can last a long time, and I'll be using the glyphs, so I will be mounting this to an analog digital converter, which also uses 5 volts and this USB type jack. So I'll use a power pack that you use for your phones that has dual USB ports that I'm using anyway for travel. This is the Adafruit USB Mini B breakout board that I also purchased from Amazon. Thanks again, Bruce from UBAD, for the schematic. Basically, this is all you need. All you need to do is wire in 5 volt input voltage, the grounds, and the video output to whatever connector you choose. You might want to take a screenshot or pause right here. The first thing I did was cut the pin headers down to 9 pins and connected it to the module. You can see I layered silicone double-sided tape, and I used one of those neoprene battery lipo things we used to cut down, and I filled up the spot underneath the module so it doesn't bend the pin headers. Now place this exactly where you want on the PCB and solder it down. Here is a close-up of the USB port. I am only using power and ground, but solder it down wherever you'd like. Now take a look at the RCA connectors. This side is the ground because the outside of the barrel is ground on RCA cables. The back pin is for the middle pin on the RCA connector, which is the signal. Soldered the ground on one side to the PCB end. You can see that I took a ground wire and threaded it through the hole. I'm only using video on my ground station, but you can use the other two for audio. I think there's a left and a right, but I think it's the same signal split. Take a look at the diagram for wiring the audio. So here's the back side. You can see I soldered the ground coming from the front to the module pin header 3, and the middle pin for signal, the video signal, to pin header 6. So here's another backside view showing all the wiring. It shows the wiring from the USB connector to the bottom of pin number 1 on the module header and the ground pin to pin number 3 on the module header. And that's it. I used the second PCB board on the back and 2mm plastic standoffs on all 4 corners, and it made my own little box for it. If someone really makes a cool case for the UBAD LaForge Diversity, post it below and let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.